Okay, let's now take a look at what we call a gap options. A gap option, a gap call in this case, a European call. Um, a, a, a gap call is a European call that provides a payoff where it's like a call payoff. So S minus K1 minus the strike price and maturity. But there's an additional condition that S must be greater than K2. So in this case, the actual payoff is calculated based on whatever the S price is minus K1. But the condition, the additional condition S greater than K2 must be satisfied in order for this call to be eligible to exercise. Now, a gap put is defined similarly. It's a European put that provides a payoff. Let's say the S is here. The payoff is really between K1 minus S. However, there's another condition that S must be lower than K2 as well. So essentially, you can think of gap options as cheaper variations of the regular call and put. It's been cheaper because it has more requirement, where the additional requirement decreases value. So if you have a regular call, if at maturity S is at this level, then for the regular call, you would have a value or payoff of S minus K1 here, right? But for a gap call, since it's not greater than K2, the value of gap, the payoff of the gap call will be 0. So, which is not as good. That's why it's cheaper. Similar for a put as well, okay? So how do we price that? The pricing of gap options is actually very simple. The only difference of a gap option with a regular option is that for gap options, the probability must be calculated based on K2 rather than K1. But the payoff itself is based on K1. So there's a difference between the exercisable condition and the payoff. Whereas in the regular option, there's only one strike price, which determines the exercisable condition as well as the payoff itself. Okay, so if you go through that integration of what we have gone through to derive the Black-Scholes formula, you will see that when we integrate, we will actually the conditions that we integrate should be based on K2. And then this particular K parameter that we need to have, the constants in the integration itself is K1, okay? So the starting point is K2, but the exercise actual in the integration, the factor in front of the integration is this K1. So there's nothing more than that. So we see this for formula for calls, and very similarly, we see exactly the same thing for puts as well. So we need to use the K2 when we do D1 and D2, but when we calculate the actual price in the pricing formula itself here, the K that we need to use here is K1.